The United States government is considering slapping a hefty 25% tariff on goods coming in from Canada and Mexico. That's right, a 25% tax on imports. They say it's to protect American jobs and boost domestic production. But is it really that simple? History tells us that tariffs can have unintended consequences. Remember that 25% tariff on light trucks? It's been around for ages, and not everyone's a fan. One thing's for sure, if these new tariffs go through, get ready for some major shakeups. Supply chains will be disrupted, and freight movement will feel the heat. The trucking industry, the lifeblood of North American trade, is staring down the barrel of uncertainty. It's not just about the tariffs themselves, but the domino effect they could trigger. Will costs skyrocket for consumers? Will jobs be lost? Let's dive into the nitty-gritty and see what's what. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Here's the deal. When you make imports more expensive, people buy less of them. That's just basic economics. So, the initial hit for U.S. trucking could be a drop in freight demand. Those trucks hauling goods from ports, known as drayage services, might find themselves with fewer loads to carry. But hold on, it doesn't end there. Trucking companies, facing thinner margins, might have to raise their rates to stay afloat. And guess who ends up footing the bill? You guessed it, the American consumer. Now, let's talk rerouting. If it becomes too pricey to import from China, companies might shift production to Mexico or even back to the U.S. Sounds good on paper, right? Well, not so fast. This shift in manufacturing will require a massive logistical overhaul. Trucking companies will be scrambling to reroute their fleets and adjust to new trade flows. It's a recipe for headaches, delays, and yes, you guessed it, even higher costs. Canada isn't just going to sit back and take it. Oh no, they'll likely hit back with their own set of tariffs on U.S. goods. It's a classic trade war scenario, and nobody wins in the end. Canadian trucking companies that rely heavily on U.S.-Canada routes will feel the pinch. Cross-border trade could plummet, leaving many trucks idle and drivers out of work. But wait, there's a twist. This could be a chance for Canadian businesses to focus on their home turf. With U.S. imports becoming more expensive, demand for Canadian-made goods could surge. This could lead to increased domestic freight within Canada, offering a lifeline to some trucking companies. However, this shift won't be without its challenges. The Canadian trucking industry is closely intertwined with the U.S., particularly in sectors like automotive manufacturing. Disrupting these established supply chains will have far-reaching consequences. Let's be clear. Tariffs aren't just about trucks and trade routes. They have a ripple effect that can impact the entire economy. When you increase the cost of imports, businesses have to raise their prices. This can fuel inflation, eating away at the purchasing power of consumers. Suddenly, that gallon of milk or that new pair of shoes costs more. And what happens when people can't afford to buy as much? Demand falls, businesses suffer, and jobs are lost. It's a vicious cycle that can spiral out of control. The political calculus behind these tariffs is a complex beast. Some argue that it's a necessary evil to protect American jobs and industries from unfair competition. Others see it as a reckless gamble that could backfire spectacularly. The truth, as always, lies somewhere in between. The USMCA conundrum. Trade agreement under pressure. Remember the USMCA? That trade agreement between the US, Canada, and Mexico? Well, these tariffs seem to fly in the face of that agreement. The USMCA was all about free trade and reducing barriers. Now, the US government seems to be changing its tune. This could lead to tense negotiations and potential trade disputes between the three countries. Some experts believe that these tariffs are a negotiating tactic, a way for the U.S. to renegotiate the USMCA in its favor. Whether this strategy will work remains to be seen. What is clear is that the future of North American trade hangs in the balance. A shifting landscape, rerouting, and logistics. As mentioned earlier, tariffs can force companies to rethink their supply chains. If it's too expensive to import from China, they might look for alternative sources. This could involve moving production to Mexico, Vietnam, or even back to the United States. This shift in manufacturing will create both challenges and opportunities for the trucking industry. On the one hand, trucking companies will need to adapt to new trade flows. This could involve rerouting their fleets, investing in new equipment, and hiring more drivers. It's a logistical puzzle that will require careful planning and execution. The price of protectionism. Trucks, parts, and consumers. Let's not forget about the trucks themselves. A significant portion of the components used to build trucks in North America come from overseas. Those tariffs, they'll drive up the cost of those parts, making trucks more expensive to manufacture. And guess what? Those increased costs will eventually trickle down to consumers in the form of higher prices for goods and services.
So while the intention behind tariffs might be to protect domestic industries, they can also make life more expensive for everyone. It's a delicate balancing act with no easy answers.
Adapting to uncertainty. Strategies for trucking companies. So what can trucking companies do to navigate this uncertain landscape? First and foremost, they need to stay informed. Keeping track of trade developments, tariff announcements, and government policies is crucial. Second, they need to be flexible and adaptable. Being able to adjust their operations, reroute their fleets, and explore new markets will be key to survival. Third, they need to build strong relationships with their clients. Understanding their needs, providing excellent service, and being a reliable partner will be more important than ever. The long haul ahead. The proposed tariffs on goods from Canada and Mexico have the potential to reshape the trucking industry in North America. The impacts will be complex, far-reaching, and difficult to predict with certainty. One thing is clear, the road ahead will be bumpy, and trucking companies will need to buckle up for a long and uncertain ride. Like, comment, and subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, I will be taking a break from making videos until the new year. So to all my subscribers and viewers, have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. See you all in 2025.